I often get asked, do you do social media marketing for law firms? Can you advertise us? Can you create content for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn for our law firm? And the answer is we can certainly produce content and we can certainly advertise your law firm on Facebook. But will it yield a return on investment, or will it be a complete waste of your money or partial waste of your money? And the answer to this question is it depends. Here's why Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn could be considered to be so controversial for law firms, especially small law firms. When you think about Facebook, and when you think about your prospective clients, would majority of your prospective clients think about using Facebook to search for an attorney? They wouldn't. Here's why. Facebook is typically not used for search for professionals. Google is used for search for professionals, not Facebook. However, you will see that a lot of lawyers do create and post content on Facebook. Why is that? Does that work for them? In my opinion, most of promotions for law firms on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn produces mediocre to poor results because these are the platforms where people are not looking. So let's imagine that you allocate a budget of $3,000 to advertising on Facebook every single month. And you target any audience. Let's say that you do criminal defense and you start producing videos or content that has to do with criminal defense. And you post it on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Now think about it this way. Most people who you're going to show this content to, are they in legal trouble? Chances are they're not. So, for example, if you show it to a guy like me, I'm in my mid-40s, I have never been arrested in my life. If you show me that content, if you would have showed me that content for the last 10 years, all of that would have been a waste. You do get charged by social media for impressions, not for clicks. So Facebook, Instagram, they will charge you for showing your ads per 1,000 impressions, meaning every time they show you, or every 1,000 times they show your website, or your ad rather, or your content to their audience, they're going to charge you for that 1,000 impressions. Chances are you're going to waste a lot of money showing your ads to people, or your content to people who will never become your clients. It is very similar to advertising on TV or radio or any other type of broadcast advertising. Most people who hear those ads, watch those commercials, see those billboards, are never going to become clients. Unlike Google, where when people are looking for an attorney or for information related to legal challenge, they're searching because they have a need. Very, very different. Now, does that mean that social media will never be effective for law firms? Specifically Facebook, would it never be effective for law firms? No, there are definitely some very, very notable exceptions. Exception number one, Facebook can be incredibly effective for retargeting. Here's what I mean by this. Majority of people, when they come to your website, no matter through which channel they find your website, let's say it's through Google, majority of them will not take action the first time they visit your website. In fact, lawyer websites on average convert at a rate, I believe, at about 3.5% or something like that. So 96.5% of all people who visit your website will not convert on that first visit. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't have the need. It's just for whatever reason they chose not to take action at the time of the visit. You can chase them with your ads on Facebook, where a lot of people, billions of people, spend time every day or every month. You can chase them on social media like Facebook and show them your ads to reinforce that brand awareness so that they start looking at your law firm as potentially a helpful guide for navigating their legal challenge that they have. So those retargeting ads are incredibly inexpensive and can be incredibly effective, so you should definitely do that. The other exception is you can do event-based promotion to people on Facebook. So for example, people who recently had a baby or recently got married, life events, you can specifically target them and offer them your services if they fit your practice area. So for example, if you do wills, for example, you can promote, hey, you got married or you had a kid, make sure that you have a plan for your estate. Things like that. That could work. But because most people do not post life events like got into an accident, committed a crime, filed for bankruptcy, Facebook would be unable to find those people and show them your content. Of course, you can engage yourself in what's called branded type of advertising where you're just trying to build up your brand, right? You're creating videos like some lawyers do for TikTok, and some of those videos are amazingly good. Those people are really artists. They're super funny. Those videos are great. But if you do not have a need, you can watch those videos from time to time. If you're not in their geographical area, it's great that they're building that awareness, but when I may need that, a lawyer in that category, will I still remember who they are? Or go directly to Google and start looking for a lawyer? Chances are the latter is going to be the truth. Most people will use Google to look for lawyers. So branding does work in some instances, but for most law firms it wouldn't. Now, here's another exception where Facebook advertising and content development and promotion would work very well. There are some, and this is an example of somebody who I know. This lawyer specializes, or the primary practice area is dealing with DUIs. Lives here in Chicago. He is an ethnic from Eastern European community. In that community, there are a lot of guys who like to go out and party and drink, and many of them get caught driving drunk. And because this attorney specializes in this, speaks their native language, and posts a lot of content about dealing with DUIs, he gets a lot of traction, a lot of leads, and a lot of clients out of that. But this is more of an exception rather than a rule, right? He could have created a lot of content about other criminal behaviors and how to deal with them, but because he knows that most people do not commit other crimes other than driving under influence, that content, all that effort and money spent on promoting that content would be wasted. So those are like really, really exceptions. Now, aside from having retargeting ads, what else works on social media? Well, most people who are going to come to your website, whether they find you through Google or any other way, they come to your website, they want to see your reviews. Very often people will click from your website to your Facebook profile, or they'll search for you on Facebook to see your reviews on Facebook because they know that those reviews are independent. You gotta have good reviews on Facebook, and you should have a very lively page on Facebook, meaning whatever content gets produced and posted on your website should also be on your Facebook. You should have a human face on your Facebook. Post some videos from your law firm. Post some pictures. Don't have pictures just of yourself unless you are the main talking head for the law firm. Also have pictures of your team there, other people who work there. See if you can post some videos where they talk about the work that they do, the cases that they handle, etc., etc. Make it as lively as possible because we like to buy services from people who we like and trust. For them to first like you and trust you, they have to know you, find you, and then watch those videos and read that content to start liking you. Have all of that in place. And there's one more thing. There's one company whose work I absolutely adore, love it. It's called Crisp.co. They create great, very emotional videos for attorneys. I believe that having those videos on your website and on your social media like Facebook could be of tremendous value. So they're not cheap, but they're very good for connecting with prospective clients, in my opinion. So you should definitely reach out to them and have them create video content for your website and for your Facebook page, because once again, it will help your prospective clients that are visiting your Facebook page and your website to have a better emotional connection with your law firm. Have all of that in place, and your Facebook page is going to deliver results. But again, blindly advertising, even if you can somewhat narrowly select your target audience there, is probably going to yield more losses than wins.